Stirring the motherfucking coffee with motherfucking chopsticks, using the motherfucking vortex method, the only motherfucking true way to optimize the taste of your motherfucking coffee at the motherfucking molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I can't even say that with a straight face. I was just trying to do like Samuel L. Jackson doing the opening, but good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. Take two. Good morning. Well, forget it. Nice. Starbucks that was given to me with some honey and some cream in it. It's good. One hoax after another. They think you're stupid, but people are being awakened little by little by little when you see the absurdity of it all. Has it hit you yet? Are you still having fun staying at home with the pan? Dem. Ick. You know why I do that, right? Because I can say anything I want when I talk like this. Mother fucker. So are we on lockdown until there's zero germs left in the world, or just until the election is over? Just wondering. It's not in the way you look or the things that you say that you do hold the line. Love isn't always on time. Today, when I think of old, I think 75 years old and up. 75 can also be on death's door. I've always said that the way that you feel now is the result of the past decade. So the habits that you are doing now are going to bite you in the butt in a good way or a bad way 10 years from now. If you're 40 years old now and have a crappy diet, crappy lifestyle, crappy attitude, by the time you're 50, you're going to look like you're 75. True. I feel good now. Here I am in my 6th decade of life. I feel great. You know why? Because I was getting my crap together at 50. Lifting, eating properly, having the right mental attitude. What I did 10 years ago is now rewarding me today. No one else will tell you that. How you feel now is the result of not just a couple years of whatever. It's 10 years. 10 years. So I have some friends that are 15 to 20 years older than me. Check this out. I have two friends. One is, well, I almost said 65. He's 75. This is what blows me away. 75. And I have another friend, literally turning 80 this year. Isn't that funny? And these are like dudes that sit around, drink coffee with, meet at the diner, talk. Hey, you up for a 5-mile walk? We do a 5-mile walk at Valley Forge Park. But these are guys that I've always done that with. So to me, they're not old. Now, the guy who's 80 got a knee replacement. He might be getting a second one. Because when he was younger, he was much heavier. And he just beat the heck out of his joints. But it's interesting, if you treat yourself well, you can age nicely. If done right, these two guys can move furniture in their house, work in the yard, work on their car, do whatever they want. No problem. So if done right, you can truly live until you die. It's a fact. You don't have to spend the last 20 or 30 years of your life swallowing medications, going to the doctor every other week. You can live right up until your heart stops. It's possible. I can't get burgers because my girlfriend is a vegetarian, which makes me a vegetarian. That was Samuel L. Jackson's character in Pulp Fiction, 1994. Boy, did he hit the nail on the head with that one. If you must retire due to health reasons, by all means do it. But not stopping work may be one of the keys to longevity. Never forget my father, like, retiring. And I'll never forget, true story. He started cutting hair again after he retired. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, literally, his words were, "There's only so much fishing and golf you can do." This was a man who's not like recreational, like literally is, some guys can just like fish and golf forever. I don't come from that kind of family. I come from to me, in my family, that's playing. That's not working, that's play. And I grew up with the kind of family where we work, we don't play. Now, I guess if you make a living playing, that's one thing. So he went back and cut hair, and he's 85, and he cuts hair. And he's not slowing down. And it gives him a reason to get out of bed in the morning. I want to see the real demographic breakdown of who is dying from you know what. I have a theory. I can't trust the CDC. Can't trust them. They're an arm of some weird political thing. They have more to do with politics than they do with science and health. Let's get real. Come on. I have a theory, and I have a hunch that I'm pretty darn right about it. I saw a meme on Facebook. In a world that is dark right now, be light. Can you get any more soy than that? How about this? In a world that is fake, be real. When you tear up the fibers of civilization, it's a slow job to knit things together again. Christopher Morley, 1919. Wrote that in a book 101 years ago. People have been talking about this stuff for 100 years. 100 years ago, they were reading stuff that was written in 1819. And they were saying the same thing. Exact same thing. We've only had a period of stability for about, maybe 70, 80 years at the most. Think about it. What a cluster this has been. It's time. It's time for another world war, I think. It's coming. Things have been too quiet. There have been little wars and all these little troublemaking countries. But a big one's coming soon. I don't know if it'll be in my lifetime or not. Things do accelerate quicker these days. Truth, like everything else, is rationed by the government. Again, Christopher Morley, 1919. You think you turn on the news and get truth? Enough already with your ignorance, please. A flapper. In the 1920s, a flapper was a fashionable young woman intent on enjoying themselves and flouting conventional standards of behavior. Again, I'll say a word that'll probably get me banned. It sounds like today's slats. Many said they're acting like men. Smoking, drinking, sexual experimentation was common. Short hair, and they wrapped their chests with bandages to flatten it, to make it to, to decrease their sexuality, to look genderless. In the 1920s. Interesting, right? Flappers. And we just thought that the flapper fashion is just cool, with the little hats and the form-fitting dresses. But think about it. There wasn't much of a form there if you're wrapping yourself like a mummy. Isn't it funny when you think of flapper girls? You just think of like fun girls dancing to jazz. This is what it was all about. Not the Roaring 20s. Why do you think they call them the Roaring 20s? It was the beginning of feminism and women's liberation, so to speak. A flapper was nothing but a slat. It was nothing to look forward to. When people have fundraisers and dances, hey, we're having a Roaring 20s night. and the men dress a certain way and the women dress a certain way. Do you know exactly what you're imitating, ladies, when you dress like a flapper? Hmm? When I look at pictures of Tsar Nicholas, he looks like he could be living in Austin, Texas. I would like you to develop a hate for communism and all its forms. Learn to hate communism. Communism wants to keep you down. It wants to make you all the same. It's happening. It starts with socialism, and it naturally morphs into communism. Let me remind you, none of the politicians that you voted for are doing what you're doing right now. None of them. None of them have taken a financial hit at all. You might have lost some income. You don't have work. They're guaranteed income for the rest of their life and solid, killer health benefits for the rest of their life. You can serve in Congress for 2 years and get a pension for the rest of your life. Top medical care for you and your family for the rest of your life with 2 years of serving. Think they're a little bit out of touch? You think they'll do anything to keep their benefits, to keep that going? It might be time. Torches and pitchforks and that kind of stuff. It might be time. Europe, you guys folded under the EU. I want you to be strong. There's a few of you awakened in Europe. A few. Never leave home with empty pockets, but always have something to give to the poor. Grigory Rasputin. Now, he wasn't such a bad guy after all, now was he? Half of what you think is evil isn't. Half of what you think is good isn't. Hello, darling. Nice to see you. It's been a long time. You're just as lovely as you used to be. Conway Twitty, 1969. Divorced and troubled relationships have jammed people up so much that they can only give about 75% of themselves, if that. The guy has a couple options. Let's just talk to men. You can be celibate forever, which is good for some. It's fine. Others, it creates frustration. If it's a planned celibacy where you're serving the Lord, that's cool. That's cool. I was in monk mode for a long time myself. And when I say monk mode, I'm not talking about Eastern Asian monks. I'm talking more like Christian monk. Not Kung Fu monk. Or you can just play house forever. Just live with woman after woman after woman. Serial live-in girlfriends. It's weird in 2020 when here I have my mouse right here. When you are one mouse click away from being replaced or replacing somebody, let your fingers do the walking or the swiping, or let your mouse do the clicking. A new boyfriend, a new girlfriend is a mouse click away. Thoreau said there was a man in my neighborhood who lived in a hollow tree. He actually wrote this. Lived in a hollow tree. That's where he lived. His manners were truly regal. I should have done better had I called on him. I love that. Even savages and beasts and barbarians are sometimes better than the civilized people running our country. Thoreau said he trusts a guy living in a tree more than he trusts the government. Here's a quiz. If you remove sexiness from a woman and you remove success from a man, what do you have left? Put your answer down below. I'd like to see that. I would imagine that RVs would start to be more popular as opposed to a hotel vacation because one has full control over the cleanliness. I mean, just seriously, just stop for a second and think about hotels. How fucking gross they are. Honest to God, if you brought a black light into a damn hotel, it would look like a crime scene. That nice comfortable bed with those fresh tight sheets looks like a damn crime scene under a black light. Just think about it for a second. It's fucking gross. The remote that's on where the TV is Think about that remote. Swab that sucker. That thing's got every freaking disease known to man. And yet, well, first of all, what do you think the last person, what do you think they were touching before they touched that remote? Let's get real. I know people that bring saran wrap or like a Ziploc bag to a hotel and they take that remote, put it in a bag, and then they use it through the bag or the saran wrap. Isn't that crazy? Hotels are gross. Come on, let's get real. They're disgusting. Think about what you have to suppress mentally before you actually enjoy a hotel room. Think about it. Think about knowing how nasty hotel rooms are. And knowing that, but you gotta like push that down in order to enjoy it. That's why RVs, where you have control over the damn cleanliness, are going to be the way to go. Campers, RVs, tents. I just think there's going to be an explosion in outdoorism. I am looking to do some positive vlogging on e-bikes and e-scooters on this channel over this summer. I want to review the various e-bikes and their functions, and even the scooters. The scooters got me going when I went to Poland last year, and in Warsaw, scooters were everywhere. Everywhere. It was like the mode of transportation. So, who has the connections for the e-bikes and the scooters? I've been writing some, and I'll be doing videos on them and the practicality and going shopping with them and grocery shopping. And can they carry bags of groceries? And are they safe? Do I need to, how are they on sidewalks? I mean, a lot of times these scooters are perfect in a parking lot, but what about every day, like sidewalks, where, you know, in my neighborhood, the sidewalks, about every 6 feet, there's a section, and sometimes the sections are like this, so it's like, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Do they have to be perfect surfaces? I'm gonna find out. So I think it'll be kind of fun to do those. So if you have connections, I'm looking for some e-bikes and e-scooters to do reviews on. Just let me know, or if you know someone who has a company, that would be awesome. And then after I am done with them at the end of the summer, I'll donate them or sell them and give the money to charity or something. 80% of the women who use the hashtag aging gracefully have had cosmetic surgery. It's not exactly what I call aging gracefully. You see these women on Instagram. Instagram is so funny. Oh my God. Aging gracefully. Come on. You will understand your parents better when you look back and see how they handled the death of their parents. And your children will understand you better when that happens to them. You're not going to be fully understood in this world, my friend. Forget it. Stop trying to get your kids to understand you and what it was like to be you. Forget about it. Get over it. All right? It is what it is. I'll never forget John Bradshaw. He died. I forget when he died. Within the past few years. Family Dynamics guy. I really liked John Bradshaw. And he talked about when he was younger, he thought when he got old, he was going to have all his kids sitting around him, listening to him impart wisdom. And it ended up being just the opposite. He's not putting his kids down, but his expectations were a little bit different. I watched a video of John Bradshaw, and there he was sitting at his dining room table recently. I'm talking one that was like within the past 5 years. 83-year-old John Bradshaw sitting at his dining room table coloring with like a 5-year-old girl, like in a coloring book. And I thought maybe it was his granddaughter. It was his daughter. So he's 83, daughter is 5, which means he was 78 when she was born. John Bradshaw, making babies in the 70s. Got the young wife, got the young daughter. Now he died. He's gone. A great life. He had a great life. What a nice man he was. I really enjoyed him. But John Bradshaw, look him up. Good guy. The smell of a tube radio or TV when you turned it on and looked in the back of it, the pop, the glow, and then the smell. Someone said that's ozone. But when you looked in the back of a radio or TV and you saw the glowing tubes and you sniffed, there was a smell coming from the back of that. I'm actually thinking of getting a tube radio, just like looking on like Craigslist or eBay or something like that, just keeping it here. And AM radios, you have to listen to oldies on them. You can't listen to like modern music. It's either oldies or like talk radio. But I want to get a tube radio for the kitchen table here, like that was on every kitchen table back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. I grew up with tube radios on the kitchen table where you would listen to like the sunrise report, that kind of thing. It was interesting. But I want that smell again, that tube radio smell. Yeah. God, if one of those tubes went, think about it, if one of those tubes died, it would because I was looking at tube radios on Craigslist, and I can get one, like a Bakelite radio, for 40 to 60 bucks. But think about it, if one of the tubes dies, how much does a new tube cost? I mean, do they still make tubes? I would imagine they do, but they would cost more than the darn radio. But that's not going to stop me. What did you think of my interview with Mr. Steve Smoot in Tennessee? The man that lost his wife and is starting over. Today is May 18th. He lost his wife on February 19th of this year. Tomorrow will be 3 months. I thought it was a good conversation. Completely unedited. Just pressed record and let it rip. Which is something I rarely do. But I felt like you would benefit from it. I have a conversation coming up soon with a gentleman who wants to talk about veteran suicides. We're going to talk about that. 22 vets, or an average of 22 vets kill themselves every day. I'm not sure what that's all about, but we're going to talk about it. I'm going to be talking to Anna Brees, former BBC reporter, has a lot to say. She's in the UK. She seems like she is becoming really awakened, and we'll see what she has to share. And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Daybreak Show, your home and daily dose, your vaccine of sanity, clarity, and reason.